And we are live, everyone. Hello. Can the beautiful people watching us see me, see our lovely players, see the face of regret that will surely follow on my face when we play tonight? No, I'm just kidding. It'll be nothing but happiness. Hello there, everyone. Thank you for joining us here on the Welcome to the Party Twitch channel as you are here this Sunday evening to join us as we play a little bit more in the world of Aerowen in the Monty Cook Numenera system, part of the larger Cypher system. So, lovely to be back. We've had a little bit of some breaks in between the past bit of time we've been doing this for sickness and just overall well-being of our players. World is a bit of a messy place right now, and we hope you're patient with us as we continue on trucking along and carrying on with everything and that we do here, which is fun, happiness, games, and occasional existential discoveries about the world and all of reality and the nature of how your whole ecosystem works. But that's minor. It's minor things we do. But before we can get into that, we have to do just a little bit of the housekeeping, as it's been kindly referred to. So, sponsors, we thank you very much. We give many thanks to them for help keeping things going. So, gonna do that. We're gonna roll real quick on the good old Twitch. That is sponsors. So first off, Tabletop Loot. Thank you to Tabletop Loot, amazing dice sponsor, provider of the fine dice for all gaming needs. Head on over to www.tabletoploot.com and use the code WTTPDICE to get 15% off your next purchase. Shout out to Maddie and his amazing merch shop, the sole provider of Welcome to the Party merch. Head over to www.sonerdwear.com and use the code WELCOME at checkout to get 10% off your next purchase. So Nerdwear, it's what the nerds wear. We are proudly sponsored, as Welcome to the Party, by Roll20, the virtual tabletop that runs straight out of your web browser. Everything available at the click of a mouse, from click-to-roll character sheets to built-in video and voice chat. You can even upload your own maps and tokens. Done it a lot. Pretty amazing. Get all that and more with a free basic account on roll20.net. Sign up at http://roll20.net/start/WTTP. And finally, in the sponsor category, the wonderful, the amazing Devin Rue, who has provided huge support to the community since we launched for some of the best cartographical content on the web. Check out rueinc.com. Next up, we do a lot around here to try and platform BIMPOC, queer folk, and the folks who are QTPOC and such. And a lot of that happens because of the generous folks who've been involved with our Patreon. It not only goes to support the channel, but the people who support it. We hope to continue platforming many more amazing LGBTQ and BIMPOC players and creators, so check us out at patreon.com/welcomepartyrpg. Discord. We have amazing community. We have so many different things going on there, so many different important conversations, and as with many spaces, the usual plethora of memes and or jokes and or other things. So feel free to check us out on the Discord. And so, to get into the really what we're truly here for, our game, we need to talk and get just a little bit of info from our lovely players, the heart and soul of this game. So, I'm going to go around, just introduce yourself and who you're playing, the usual little sentence blurb for this system that conveniently tells you all we need to know about what your character is. So, I'm going to go based off of my Zoom overlay to Bram first.
Alright, hi, I'm Bram, and I will be playing Aerowen Raditya Nagahari, a intelligent nano who crafts illusions.
Next up, the paper got me. Passing it on over to Kupo.
Hello, I'm Kupo Knight, but tonight I will be playing Hanan de la Vega. Both of our pronouns are they, them, and they are a nurturing nano who possesses a shard of the sun.
Wow.
Pew, pew. Okay.
Next up on the overlay going around, Sunsilt, if you would not mind.
Hello, name is Sasil here. I am playing Harun Musafir, a clever jack who fights with panache.
Excellent. Moving on over to the wild and chaotic mechanical wonder that is Noah.
Hi, yes, my name is Noah, and today I'll be playing as Craven Celestis. He is a mechanical rice who talks to machine and a bit of a cook.
A wild one, if ever there was one. And last but certainly not least among our players, Simon.
Hello, I am Simon, and I am playing Nepalzin, a rugged glaive who lives in the wilderness. Both me and my character's pronouns are he, him.
Fantastic. And for those of you who don't know me, I am Angela, the Phoenix24 femme on Twitter, or otherwise known as Phoenix in many circles. I am the GM here, helping guide our players through hijinks, eventually making it into the temple, and also, it happens. We'll get there. And also guiding them through this entirely homebrew world that I've created specifically for this campaign and just for larger usage in other systems. So, with a lot of that out of the way, I'm going to dive right into our quick recap as we go over just a little bit of what our party is jumping back into. The party having come to a newly discovered temple within the pulled back valley of fog on the ground levels below the floating islands of Aerowen. I've arrived in this temple, seemingly one made for giants, or perhaps beings of unusual size. Thankfully not rodents of the same aforementioned descriptor. But in wandering the caverns, discovering some sort of bug-like crystalline humanoids that attack them, and also discovering a mysterious individual who seemed to be phased in multiple manners out of time, the party slowly made their way through the caverns through a door that, once unlocked, after some minor harm suffered by one very inquisitive Haroon, found their way into the Shadow Memory Archives, a living, almost registry of sound, light, shadow, and perhaps even of lingering sentient beings contained within fishbowl-like constructs whose music would summon light and shadow to form a fragment of their past selves. In the process, some discoveries were made. A slight argument was had with an older mechanical device, prompted by an undisclosed rite, whose name starts with a K, and eventually the arrival of floating mechanical orb, perhaps droids, perhaps mechanical just units that seem to bear eyes of a crystalline nature, speaking to new secrets and new information regarding the Eighth World and the very purpose of the temple that the group of adventurers that you all see before you are looking into. Having spoken with the group and given a sense of respect by Nepalzin and others, the group is being led deeper into the temple as another door in the back has opened for them. And that is where we come back into the fold of Aerowen in this lost temple. Just for my sake, and your own sake as well, marching order.
Yeah.
I think I would be in the front.
Called this on the very back.
So
And
Craven is in
Haroon
the
will
back.
be behind Simon.
So Haroon is behind Nepalzin. Craven is in the back. Anan and Aerowen.
I remember correctly, these orbs that are going for, they're in a V formation around us,
Yes,
right?
they're in a V formation. They're just leading you forward. They don't seem to be
Okay.
anything like encircling. If you're worried about anything like that, it's nothing like that. They have not prompted any sort of hostility or shown any aggression. There's just been a sense of mostly curiosity looking at your party, and mostly just wondering. It seems like they're as curious about you as you might be about them, and mind you, there probably is some legitimate understanding for being a little bit worried, given that the previous interaction with devices prompted the emergence of a being composed entirely of sound that seemed to make unsettling clicking noises. But you obtained a form of Numenera through that process, and they do not appear to be gesturing towards those devices. There is just the door in the back that, again, a familiar half rising sun pattern on the top half of it, and a reflected version of that in the bottom half. The door seems to be parting.
Yeah. Aerowen is going to be behind Haroon, but just also going to keep an eye. Just it's not like a wary eye, but like a also curious eye at the various orbs, just like almost like eyes just flitting between each one.
Yeah, the orbs are just sort of like, just like casually passing on. It's there for most of them. It's a singular crystalline eye with an orb of a pure metallic construct, and they're just floating. And they're just guiding you along to the path.
Okay, so as we get to this, once we reach the room, I was going to lean against the wall, take a little bit of a rest, because he has been kind of overclocking himself a bit. And I guess that counts as a rest action?
Yes, that would count as rest. So as a note, as a reminder, because in this system, a lot of resting is a lot more simple and paced out. You can take a simple action, which is basically the equivalent of like a few seconds, to just catch your breath, and I believe it's 1d6 plus a set amount.
Plus your tier.
Yes, plus your tier. So which you're still
1.
1. So it would be 1d6 plus 1. So you can
Okay.
feel free to just roll that in the chat if you'd like, and that applies to everyone for anyone who's here. And you can apply that rest pool to any one of your 3 main stat pools and might, intellect, or speed if you are in any way hurting in any capacity. The spheres, should any of you take that moment to just catch your breath, will stop as well. They seem like they're just very patiently waiting for the group to carry forward.
Is there a limit to the number of times we can recover, like per day?
The limit is mostly defined by the nature of how long the rest will take.
Okay.
Yeah, so in the cheat sheets that I provided to you and that I have for myself, the first recovery roll is just an action, which is 1d6 plus tier points divided among stat pools. Then its secondary is 10 minutes, then an hour, then 10 hours. And then by that point, it's a matter of, like, you probably are going to take the equivalent of a long rest, because at that point, it's like you're more than half of a day through.
And this is divided between our stat pools?
Yeah,
right?
you could put it all into one, or you
I
could
see,
divide
yeah.
it. It's open to be divided. It doesn't have to be divided. It's just you have the option. It's not like I roll 1d6 plus 1. I want to put 5 in might and 1 in speed. Well, you can't. You have to put it all in one.
Yep.
No. Divide it as you see fit.
We'll put it all into
Good thing
might,
I only
because-
used 1 pool.
I only use one.
A little spread thin.
But if you take the moment to rest, the floating orbs will stop, and they will carry on the moment the party continues on. And if you go past the door, I'll be able to describe more of what you see as you go in. Is the party
Yeah.
ready?
Let us move forward.
So what you see as you come in, let me just double check I have my description right there. You see an interesting arrangement. There is, I guess the best way to describe it would be, if you imagine the circular arrangement of like think like children's cartoons depictions of like Knights of the Round Table, this sort of outline pattern to the main, this sort of raised platform where high above the holes of the wall seem to be these rich magenta and purple colorations with little pinpricks of light, but none of them seem to be of a very high intensity because I think we've had.
We got some biddies.
Oh, hi there, Mikhail Wayne. Thank you. Oh, wow. That is amazing. That is 1,500 bits. Thank you so much.
Wow.
Wow.
Did that do anything to us for the game?
I'm gonna say that will be an automatic free reroll to anyone who wants to make use of it. I'm gonna leave that as a community pool, unless Michael Wayne would like to specify someone who gets free access to that. But
Awesome.
yeah, free
Thank
thing.
you so
for
much.
the generous donation.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yep. And so,
Indeed.
the other thing though that stands out more is that you see on this raised platform are, let me try and get this right, 2 orbs on the left and rightmost sections of it, of the circle, 2 orbs of floating glass on the southern and northernmost section of it, and then 1 in the center, 2 in between. So if you go through the line, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then 2 in between the north and west and the north and east. Sorry, 1 in between north to west, 1 in between north to east. Same thing on the reverse side. Currently, they have a kind of diamond, they have a square pattern of light that is reflecting off of them. The top half has the 2 orbs in between are lit up and pointing light at one another. The bottom half has the same thing, pointing light at one another. So, going through that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 1 in the center, and 2 more. So it's 5 across through the center, 1 at each of the points, 1 in between them. That's basically it, if that makes sense.
Wow. I wonder if this has anything to do with the number of worlds there have been.
You think each one is memorial to the world that was lost?
I'm sorry, are they floating or?
The orbs of glass, they're floating up. So right now, light is going through between 2 of them, on the top half, the ones that are in between the cardinal direction orbs, and there's 2 bits of light on the other half. That the light seems to be going between them, horizontally and vertically. So right now it's sort of making a square pattern of what is lit up.
Are they reachable? Can we touch it?
Yeah, you can touch it. Before you do so, the floating orb constructs will say, though we wish to impart knowledge to all of you, knowledge is something that must be earned. Pass this test and discover the means to restore the core's full function, and we will divulge what information we have. Or rather, the core itself will show you what information it has.
Whoa.
Some sort of challenge, a test?
Do we need something to write with?
I would suggest for the purposes of this, just draw it out visually on a piece of paper so it helps. So to go through it again, so everyone has it, there's an orb at all the cardinal directions, 1 in between them, 1 in between each set of cardinal directions,
Yeah.
and then just 5, if you imagine the x-axis, there's just 5 along that, 1 directly in the center of the circle, and 2 in between the west and east cardinal direction orbs.
I am bad at direction.
So
Okay, so I think it would look something like this, if that is correct.
yes, that is correct.
Oh, yeah.
Haroon
Okay.
has the correct arrangement of it. Right now, the ones in between are shooting light down and horizontally to one another.
So,
The idea for this is to try
So-
and figure out what the proper arrangement of this is.
Oh, it's light puzzle.
Are they colors, or is it just like which things are being eliminated?
You don't know anything about this. It would take a matter of tinkering around. This is sort of the
Yeah, yeah,
idea
yeah.
behind it.
No, I meant
Right.
more. Was the were the lights different colors? Or
The
were the
lights
orbs
are
colors?
all pure red orange coloration.
Okay, okay. So
There's
it's
nothing
all the same
distinct. They're
color.
all the
Yeah.
same color. No, I'm not going to add additional
Yeah,
color
yeah,
coded
yeah.
light. I'm not the best at creating puzzles, everyone.
No, no,
This
you're
is
good. You're good. You're
this
good.
is me just trying to give you something that's like think about.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
the gazers will give you they will actually no, they will stay back. I was going to say they're going to give you a hint. I'll leave that open as an intrusion that could happen later. It should things get a little weird, but
So, if I may,
yes.
I'm going to walk up to. Well, let me set this up here. These directions I'm writing here will not actually reflect what the cardinal directions are in game unless I somehow am accurate. But I am setting it up like that. With the compass, basically top of the paper is north, and we progress from there.
Yeah.
So Haroon is going to. So the ones that are lit up are currently this, basically these in the in between cardinal ones, right?
Yeah, the simplest way to think about it is northwest, northeast, southwest, and southeast. Those four orbs are lit up right now, and
Okay.
they're making a square pattern with each other. The light is
Got it.
interacting with each other.
So
Okay, I get it
Haroon's
now.
going to northwest orb, and he's going to point northwest orb at the north orb. See if
The north
anything
orb.
happens.
Okay. So in order to do that, as you get close to it, you do notice. Are you? Well, let me ask this: how are you interacting with the orb?
You touching it?
Okay, as you touch it, you do notice it's kind of heavy. So this will be category of things. Let me pull it up real quick. That is going to be. It will be a might check. It will be a might task. We'll put it at starting. We'll put it at a might task of 3 to try and just move the orbs. And depending on how much you want to move it, might ease or change the difficulty or increase the difficulty.
Okay, so let's do this. Gonna take the straight roll as it is.
Okay. So let's take a gander at what that is.
Nice.
That'll do it. Okay. As you do that, you touch it and you just start to shift it. And you hear and the light starts heading towards the north one. And it's lit up. So now the pattern has the top section. It has the north point lit up, the northwest point lit up, and the northeast point lit up, but the northeast point is directing itself towards the northwest point. Right now, the north point and the northwest point are directing light back at each other. The northeast point is shooting light back at the northwest point.
Alright, I probably should be using something a bit darker, but like that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you got that right. So you've moved the northwest one to direct it north.
Okay.
So that is what Haroon is doing in that moment. I will also note, Haroon, as you go and you touch it, you notice two things. One is that it was heavy. Two, even putting your hand very close to it, it doesn't look like there's no signs of like heat emanation or anything, but as your hands get kind of close to the light, your skin feels that sense of like very hot water right before it's getting to like boiling. Like it's not painful, there's no harm, but you get the sense it's a very intense beam of light. So something to be mindful of. But you know this now because you've investigated.
Okay, so I'm gonna recommend this. Nobody stare directly into these lights. They seem quite a bit powerful. Wait a second, I got an idea.
Before we get into
I
that,
have-
before I just want to give everyone else a chance. How is everyone else reacting to this? Because it seems what you've had happen so far, Haroon has moved it, and it does seem they all seem capable of moving.
You might need a glove for that, buddy. I could, of course, make you something, but I'm not sure if I got the all the materials for it.
You could
How do you
investigate the orbs themselves as well. That is an
Yeah.
option.
Oh yeah, that is. But do I want to anger more people, or I mean more machines?
Again, you don't know. The gazers seem like they're specifically staying back to let you take a look at this.
I'll let everyone do their thing first.
Okay, Hanan, I did interrupt you. My apologies for that.
Oh, no.
You're up.
I was just gonna go to look at Harun and just, well, what are you doing? Why do you think moving these lights, I suppose, help?
I think because if you make the lights fight each other up, since there's only 4 lights, we need to make it all lights. I mean, it is. Wait, let me count. Yes, it is 4 lights, not 3 lights. So, actually, is there a light emanating off the north orb now that I hit it with the light?
It looks as though, from what you can tell, it's like two. It's a little hard to tell, but there are two distinct beams. Now that you're firing the light into the north one, it's shooting a light back, but it looks as though that's distinct from the light coming from the northwest one.
So, yes, 2 beams of light coming in between them. If we move the north orb to another one, we might see it light up another orb, and so on and so forth. Maybe we can make some sort of pattern, but right now let's just see if we can light them all up. I think. If you
Pattern.
If you have any idea about this, I just go ahead. I'll help you out as much as I can.
Oh no, I think you are onto something. I just, how many, what, how do we even begin to know what pattern to make in order to access this?
Well, it's a test. This
Aerowen.
place is some kind of
Yeah.
collection of past memories and the world before. Maybe it has something to do with the way the world was or the shape of the world.
Anyone, you might want to chime in here, because you might know a thing or two about this. Maybe there's like this kind of test in the past that you run into in one of your thing.
Well, I mean, if this is something from the eighth world, there is. I'm gonna go and just out on a limb, and I'm gonna make a guess that I've never seen a test like this before. If it's from the eighth world, but just looking at it, I do want to just take a quick a look around. I want to remember. So we're on a raised platform. There are these orbs, and there's the around the dome is a bunch of crystals.
It's
there
it's
any-
just purple. Yeah, it's the
purple
same kind of
crystals?
like very off-white sort of stone components that were making up the outside of the temple, but these ones are deep, rich hues of magenta and purple with little. It looks like bits of starlight that look like they could be brighter, but right now it seems as though most of the light itself in the room is coming from the orbs themselves.
Okay. Are there any images or boards or images, like, are they like on the floor, on one of the walls? If I look back, symbols, images.
I'll tell you this. We'll put out a level 3 intellect task
All right.
just to see how much information you can spot from this and if you're able to find
Yeah.
anything of interest.
Let's. Oh, level 3. Let's put a point of effort in it, and. All right.
Yeah, that did it. You see along the floor as you're taking a look, and how would Adawan be like looking around? Would it just be because I could imagine Craven being the type to just be like, I have a bunch of tools and things, and I'm talking to the machines and trying to do it. But is Adawan like scraping dust off? What is Adawan doing moving through this?
Yeah, very carefully, like just like looking around, like looking, like scraping if there's any dust, like carefully wiping it away. If there's any sort of just like, yeah, carefully wiping it away, looking at it, taking a look at it close, then taking a couple of steps back, taking a look at it, then taking a couple even more steps back to see if like, okay, maybe am I missing, like seeing a little bit of a picture, and I need to go back so I can have a wider field of view.
The intensity of the light when you came into the room and getting around them, as they're your main light source, you kind of got to get near them in order to like look at the floor and things of it a little more carefully. The intensity initially for everyone kind of was a little bit too much to see anything too clearly beneath the orbs, but you do notice across one half of the room, there across the direct center of the room, there is a line that as you're moving around it, there's dust that picks up, and as your feet just sort of scrape across it, there is a sun motif across the whole of the platform. The top half looks like it has brilliant red orange like patterns, but the bottom half looks like cool blue, and it's like very like, imagine the tone of like color hue of like onyx with just the faintest bit of almost silver coloration. It looks almost like if someone did a color shift and went the opposite like end of the spectrum.
Okay.
And you see that there's an inscription written along the side of it. It takes a little bit to peer through it, but you find it. It reads, "From shadow into light, from light into shadow, from both into the elements."
From shadow into light.
The first two statements seem to be like they're intentionally designed to be like mirrors or parallels of one another in how they're written, and then the third statement stands alone.
Okay. So with that, I'm just gonna start looking at it.
There's also there's one more thing. Along each of the orbs, you didn't notice it at first, and touching it, you wouldn't have picked up on it as quickly. There's very small, there's a switch on every single one of them. A lot of them look like they're malfunctioning, like they're kind of broken, but it's very tiny, but it looks like a little gem shard is sticking out of some of them at one spot. And all the ones that have light currently on, the gem shards are stuck up.
This is the job for Craven.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring that bit of attention to Craven. Hey, Craven.
What's up?
Hey, so like I'm gonna go to one of the inactive ones. The switch down. It's like, hey, didn't see this before, but there are these switches on some of the orbs.
And
Not quite sure. This might be more in your field of maybe helping figure out what they do, their purpose. Maybe they seem a little on the broken down side of things.
that's a good call for you to call me, because I know how to fix broken things. I don't just scrap things. Alright, I mostly scrap things, but I also fix things. I just did a lot more scrapping nowadays. But yeah, I can probably work through this. Alright, let Dr. Craven handle this.
Yeah. So Craven, are you going up to one of the devices? And which of the orbs are you going to? Because again, the ones that are, some of them look like they're broken, some of them look like they're not, and the ones that are lit up all seem to have a switch that is currently adjusted up. So what do you do?
So I went to the one that that Aerowen got me, put me in, and then I'll try to fix that one first.
Okay, so Aerowen, would you have moved Craven to one of the lit ones, or just one of the ones that are currently not active?
The ones that are not active. The ones that seem the one that looks the one that looks in the worst shape.
The one in the worst shape, it would probably be either the center or the southmost one. There's like gem dust from what you can see from the switch. Like you can tell just mainly because of what you've seen on the other devices, you would assume there must have been one here, but it's not here anymore.
Let's try the south switch first.
Okay.
Alrighty
I'm gonna
then.
lead to yeah.
Okay, Craven. So we'll put that this is very old tech. So we'll put it at about a difficulty of 4 intellect. But I believe you are trained in at least a couple of different things related to this. So
Yeah, let me check what can be helpful in this. Let's see. Not that one, not that one. I got Illusionist purifies. I mean, I could, but
your call.
yeah, I only have like training on it.
Yeah, training will lower the difficulty from a 4 to a 3. And then if you would like to put in effort, you can lower the task difficulty down 1 additional step.
Oh, question about effort. Does it always reset every time we pop back into the session, or is it like every once a rest?
No, the effort you can always use at your tier. You only are able to implement it once per each of the typical checks. The only thing that doesn't reset is your pool unless you take a full rest. But effort you can always use for any of the checks. It's part of the reason why like you might specialize as a nano in putting everything into intellect, so you can and have your edge in there, because then you can keep using a lot of your abilities there without too much long-term cost. But edge is always a resource that you can use. It's just one of those things where it's a resource you try and make use of at any given point to make a task easier.
Okay. Oh, also, I just realized I got these, but it's involving electrical machines. So I'm not sure if these are electrical. It seems like it's not, but I could be wrong.
Not quite. I'd say it's borderline, probably a no. So, but your experience with training in the machines will lower from 4 to 3, and if you want to use an effort, that will lower it from a 3 to a 2.
Okay. All
Okay,
right.
so if you have an edge in intellect, that will lower the cost from 3 to 2, and then the difficulty will be a task difficulty of 2.
Just roll an intellect, right?
Yeah, you should be able to roll an intellect.
I got engineering skill, so I'm not sure if I should use that or use my intellect.
Yeah, engineering, if there's a role that you can implement for that, it should be able to roll from there that will apply that. But either way, we'll adjust the roll as need be, because we're getting back into this after a 2-week break.
You will have to click on the D20 symbol
Yeah.
next to the each level of the skill,
Yeah,
and that'll lower it one level automatically.
yep.
But you have to put in the original difficulty level.
Yeah, the original rating, yeah. So
There you go.
yeah, that would beat the ultimate difficulty that you had with putting in the effort and everything to 2. So it takes you a couple minutes, but you do see that somewhere around the grounds of the platform there are fragments of gem shards available, and they do appear to be in a state that can be refashioned to make a switch. And it takes a few minutes, but you are quite capable in this area. So, a question I have, if you make the switch, are you setting it to any particular setting? Because taking a look at it, you see it seems to have 3 main settings. One where it's neutral, one where it's up, and one where it's down.
So there's 3 switch, or is it like just?
It's one switch that has, think of it like a lever that has 3 spots it could have.
Okay.
So it could
Yeah.
go up, center, or down.
I'll fashion it the way it was meant to be fashioned. I'm not gonna tinker with it too much, because the last time I tinkered with something, I accidentally summoned a monster, and that's not what we need right now.
Not now.
Not now. Maybe
Maybe
later
another
when I'm
time.
bored.
It's the bored part, not when in trouble or anything, just the bored part. But what do you leave it just at center? What position do you leave it at?
Neutral. Just put it on neutral.
Okay. You
I want-
you restart it. There does not appear to be anything else that happens with the switch at neutral.
Alright. Now I'm gonna try to put it up. Let's check
Okay.
if it's doing anything.
As you do, from center directly up.
Alright then.
So not like directly up to the ceiling, directly to the northern orb. Clarify. I'm not going to just have it like fire off a blast up into the ceiling. Oh no, you've desecrated a temple of the eighth world.
Oh!
Please,
I did it
please
again!
don't do this. I think our group is at least slightly better than colonizers. So, we'll figure that part out later. But as it stands, you have a repaired orb that seems to be functioning in some capacity, and you get the sense an upsetting will do light.
Now let's see about down.
It's like a concentrated beam of wispy shadow that emanates out and it hits the northern orb.
Alright.
They said light and shadow,
Yeah.
balance.
So,
Well, balance indicates there has to be an equal amount of light and shadow lights, but I would think.
Possibility?
But which shape? Which shape
What if-
would be the light? Which shape would be dark?
What if they're just opposites? Light, shadow, light, shadow.
So,
I don't know if it matters which direction it goes in, as long as there's equal balance on either side.
you'd
That
think
could
they
work.
give
Matter
us
when
at
the
least a
sun
hint.
rotates around, it casts shadows in different directions. That at different points in the day, the sun and the shadow are in opposite sides. So
Wait, it might be.
I
Sorry, you were saying something.
I was gonna just like Adam was just gonna maybe it's in relationship to the markings on the ground here.
there are markings? Well, what?
Oh yeah. So here, like as I motion to the like the ones in the north half, like you can see it's sort of similar to the sun motif, the shadow motif that we saw on the door. It reminds me of that as we
Oh.
were coming in, and also this inscription of from shadow into light, from light to shadow, from both into elements. It could either be the from the light symbol on the ground, the corresponding orbs on top of it need to be turned to shadow, and vice versa on the other side, and they somehow point toward together we turn them in a way so that they combine together both halves. Or it could be that the top half should actually still be light and the bottom half should still be shadow and correspondence to the symbols on the floor and not vice versa.
have you seen the way that people do charts? The way that some nanos and scholars try and plan out the weeks? They try and tell you what the moon cycles are like. They draw, it goes
Yeah.
light and then dark and then light and then dark.
Mm-hmm.
What if it's both? It's light into shadow. It just goes light, dark, light, dark all the way around. And then
Wow.
into elements, that's our world, isn't it? The eighth
Yeah.
world was light and shadow. We were made from light and shadow. We have the four elements. We were thrown off balance. We don't have the same dedication to light and shadow that the eighth world seemed to have. Maybe that's why everything fell apart. I think while he's talking, Nepalzin is like walking around and like running his hands along the wall and trying to like galaxy brain his way into like imagining connections to the natural world, because all of this is completely out of his depth.
Yeah.
But I think he's like trying to figure out if it looks familiar from a sense of like meteorological standpoints or like star charts or things like that.
I'll tell you
Gray
what.
was just. Go ahead.
I'll tell you what, Nepalzine. This will be a difficulty 3 task. You tell me what you feel is appropriate among the stat pools. Which stat do you think is appropriate for how Nopalzine would be trying to think about this? Is this pulling off of memory? Then I'd say it's a task 3 difficulty intellect. Is he just like very carefully and just like dexterously moving through the space and looking through it, or is he like kind of like with more intention and force looking through different bits of the wall? Like, what is his method of going through it?
I think he's trying to associate ideas and memories. It's probably an intellect task.
Okay, so we can put that as a task 3, a difficulty 3 intellect task for you to see what happens.
Okay. I have training in navigation. I don't know if that applies. I think that's more about getting from place to place.
I'm going to allow it to count as an asset for reasons I'll say later.
Okay.
Ooh.
I love
Very
whenever I say
intriguing.
something like that, because Bram, just as a player, is just like, we're talking about like future stuff coming up, man.
Yeah, I'm feeling it. Okay, so 3.
If you want to put edge
I'm gonna
into
put it in a level of effort. into
yeah,
it.
put an effort in order to see. Oh,
Whoa.
holy,
Whoa!
wow.
Yikes!
Yikes!
Yikes on bikes.
That is we
Galaxy
got
brain is just like the universe.
the universe straight up.
Nepal's eyes glaze over in her
Yeah.
matrix code.
He has like
Just
eye
like
beams.
descending green numbers and letters.
Instead of I'm in, it's like I'm in the shadow or I'm in the light.
I can see everything.
I see everything. So I have a couple ideas for how this could go
Sure.
and what you might. I'll put it this way: would you like to be information directly about the orbs, information you discover along the walls that might be about past things, or just something else of your particular? Because this is, if he's drawing on these memories, he's drawing on all of the things he's learned of nature, of navigation, of pulling from what the stars and such have told him. What is this moment like for him?
And I think he's trying to take all of that, like that his association with the world is very much entirely from the wilderness and the natural world. Like he uses tech like everyone does, but less so. So he's thinking about the way in which like he sees the world as sunrise and sunset, life cycles, growth patterns, all these things, star charts, like navigation, the way that the islands move, and he's trying desperately to synthesize that with what he's seeing in the tower and what the creatures have said, what these like floating lights have said. So I think it's like a combination of that, like synthesis of like trying to find where the balance is.
You feel for a moment as his hands sort of move along the walls, there's, perhaps just by accident or just by this sense of like, not I've been here before, but this something about this, though entirely like unknown to me, there's an element that I can just faintly grasp. It's just at the edge of your memories. Your hand touches along the wall and you see just the whole wall itself, the whole dome. It just becomes a litany of different configurations of what the patterns that Aerowen saw on the floor. It's in different configurations that all just light up, and they all seem like, from what you can tell, they all seem like different, like perhaps moments in the eighth world's Aerowen. It's like at one moment that perhaps the elements made the world and shifted the islands into this way. In another moment, this chart over here, it looks like it's an entirely different configuration. At another chart, it looks like they're all clumped up together. At this one over here, it looks like there's just this moment of they're all disparate, and it almost looks like some of them are disappearing off of the edge. But there's this sense with moving along the wall with the kind of dullness of the light of many of them, that none of these seem like the right pattern. None of these seem like the current pattern. You have essentially mechanically what you discover is your guess is very close of shadow into light and reflections, but as you're moving along the walls, you're seeing which ones it can't be, just based off of like it's almost like that tracking sense of like these that like a parallel sense of like these leftover prints are fresh versus like this is from a couple weeks ago. Like you have that sort of navigational parallel happen where it's like it can't be any of these, and you watch as you go by the same inscription that Aerowen showed you. You, perhaps by memory, perhaps by instinct, just impulse, you touch. And there's a configuration that shows up right next to the inscription. It seems to show 3 lit. The top 3 lit. The bottom 3 shadow. East and west lit. In between shadow. Center neutral.
I think he like kind of glazes over for a second, the way that like people look through walls when they get really zoned out. Like, and he's mumbling these things to himself. I've seen the past. I've seen time. Seen where we were. It's not, can't be any of these.
Oh, wait. I think, Simon, we're starting to lose.
Oh.
Hold on. Wait, I think you're back. Wait.
Okay.
I think you're okay. That would be such a like frightening
Everyone else
moment.
got
You're like,
really
I
choppy
see
for a
the,
second.
yeah. Every like this would be such a frightening moment in the actual like narrative of like Nopalzine's like I've seen the past.
Yeah, I was freaking out. I was like, what is this? Oh, God.
What have we
You're gonna curse
caused?
you all.
What horror have we brought upon
Total
ourselves?
universe brain right now. I was like, holy
Salgo, he
shit.
comes. Yeah. No, he's like, I watched all of you get super slow, and I'm like, I can't be the one that has the stable internet. Everyone else.
Nope.
You can't all lose your internet at the same time. What was I saying? He like glazes over and sees these potentialities, and is like murmuring, like, yeah, it can't be these. No, it's not that. We've already seen that. There's all the times within the 8th world I've seen what happened. I think I know. It doesn't matter. That's what we're here. We're here now. And he taps out the 3, the shape. He starts to tap it out. Well, here's Terra, and here's Hydros, and he's like going through the list, and then he gets to the center tower. It's our world, I think. And he just steps back. Like,
It's like
did I break it?
It's like, it's like you felt like a moment of like God just showed up and was like, hey, what's up? And you're just like, I need a minute to process God.
I
just
cannot.
It's like, by the way, here's existential realization about the whole of your world. I need a minute. I need a minute.
Craven just walks up to Nopalzin, seeing his eyes and all, and then he just pats his sword and be like, welcome to my world. Finally you experience the thing I've experienced.
It's just,
Is this what it's like inside your brain all the time?
A bit more chaotic, but you wouldn't understand. Anyway, no, you shouldn't understand because that'll drive you crazy if you're not like me.
note for our viewers: Craven is Craven. That is all.
I don't like it.
Oh,
Napoleon
I
takes a
know.
step back.
It's like I'm out. I'm good, y'all. I'm gonna
See,
go back
this
to
is
my
why
forest.
this is why you let me do the thinking. I'm the crazy one here, not you. Don't take my role.
I need to breathe.
Yeah.
It's hard to breathe down here. There's no sky.
I toss him a canteen of water. Take some water. Cool down your thoughts a little bit.
No palsy. As you say, there's no sky in here. The dome, all the coloration changes to match more of the night sky, and it feels a little bit more like being out in the forest.
Whoa. I can't break it twice.
So if I say there is no ocean, does that mean the floor under us will turn to water?
I think it does if you want it to.
No, I'm just kidding. It's instead of rocks fall, it's just tidal wave comes in. But
We're
some of you could
surfing it
surfing it up in existential revelations. Everybody,
I didn't know we were playing Paranoia.
friend computer is here to help you.
All hail, friend computer.
Aerowen's like, no, I can't have friend computer come. I've looked at too many links. Don't look at me. It's just a conspiracy board. You have to like pull it all down all at once. But that being said, you do, from mechanically speaking, from Nepalzian's just amazing check, that was like, well, we'll see what happens from. Okay, God tier mode activated. That moment, you have a sense of what the orb arrangement perhaps could be. At least the most recent one.
Yeah, so I will attempt to direct people into that shape.
Yeah. So, you folks just sort of spend their time just trying to arrange and activate the light things.
You want to make mic checks or?
I'm gonna say I need 2 folks to do might or speed might checks for the light half of it, and I need 2 folks to do speed checks for the shadow ones, because it's very strange when you go near the shadowy ones. The shadow seems almost like it's just slightly moving around, like the beam of shadow is very wispy, and it's very like stubborn almost. If you imagine a wisp of shadow having a personality or a temper, it's just a little like, so you kind of have to be very dexterous and careful for how you move the orb, whereas the light ones just seem to be very like, they're like heavy orbs.
Well, I'm on might.
Okay.
I'll do the mic one as well.
Okay.
Don't look at me for speed. I'm not good with
I-
speed.
I'll do a speed one.
Oh yeah.
You could
I'll do
potentially
speed.
do intellect if you can explain to me how you might maneuver using your abilities to do so. I always allow, regardless of what I'm asking for, unless it's like very specific. If you make the argument for me, sure.
I actually want to use speed. I've always used intellect up till now, so
You're at
I
a
kind of
house.
want to.
Oh, talking about intellect, you say that there are still some machines that are broken. Some of the orbs that are broken. Should I roll my
Yeah.
intellect too for the
Yeah,
rest of it?
I'll say we'll put that at two intellect tasks to fix the rest of each set of the machines, because it would be kind of tedious to just have you do for every single movement and every single one. So we'll do a collective set for each ones.
Mm-hmm.
So for the ones on the top half, that will be an intellect task. It will be an intellect challenge, and then the bottom half will also be an intellect challenge. So if the group wanted to try and split it up, it could be Hanan and Aerowen doing the bottom half for the more dexterous and or trying to figure out how your abilities might work here. Haroon and Nepalzian could do the top, and Craven could be trying to go around on each side to make the job easier. Because again, the contrast with the to contrast the light beams, the shadowy ones are very cold. Like, you don't notice it when you're getting near it until your hands, like, you try and do anything to interact with it. It's very cold. So these will all the checks will be difficulty of 3. That was the starting difficulty. Make the case for what each of your suggestions will be, and then roll those in turn. But 2 might, 2 speed or intellect, and then 2 intellect from Craven.
I have muscles of iron, so I'm going to use that ability for the next 10 minutes. All might actions other than attack rolls that I attempt have their difficulty reduced by 1 step.
So that'll move from 3 to 2.
Yep.
Okay, so that is a might on Haroon, so that is one of the might is finished. That is a minor effect. Because apparently Simon today doesn't know how to...
Roll20 likes me.
Roll20 likes you today. This is how that goes. Yeah. If you would like, I will happily impart another bit of lore, if you would like, as part of your mind.
Yeah,
effect,
why not?
You could think of it.
Like, well, I think maybe he figures it out while he's hands-on moving these things.
Yeah, it looks as though they're, when you're moving them around, like they're designed to shift, and you hadn't noticed it before when doing everything. It takes you a bit, you're struggling with it, but as you're going through the process, once they get locked into what seems like their proper position, the right one, they're very delicate and very light. And there's a sense that it's like this is mainly for really only, you get the sense that from doing all of this, they're really only designed for folks who know what they're doing to try and interact with them. Otherwise, other folks is just like, this is an ordeal to get through. Why would we even bother to navigate like this? Whereas for the people who know what they're doing, it's like, it takes like 5 minutes versus this whole thing for all this is like 30, 45, an hour.
Does it feel like these are moving along specific tracks or paths?
No, it's
or is
just,
it more like it senses the user's comfort level?
Comfort level would be more like
okay.
it. It seems to be more like, is this the difference between like someone learning how to use like a blade or an instrument who has like been practicing for a fair bit versus someone who's just like, this is really good, they're really good at this, you don't need to worry. Like, it does seem to like pick up on the intention, because again, all of these little floating orbs, they all are some form of Numenera. Like your nanos in the group would have a very clear sense this is Numenera tech. It's just very strange. Like, even for Numenera, this weird multi-purpose usage of them is a little unique.
Sweet.
Also, we just had Pencil Mage 1 join the party. Thank you for coming on in and joining us as our party is having an interesting experience working with makeshift star charts and navigation tools. But
All right.
so let's see what those checks, how those turned out. So we've had the 2 might rolls that have been success. So the top half, the light fixture, the light orb sections are in their proper position. What do Aerowen and Hanan? Are you trying to do this dexterously, or are you trying to do this with some form of intellect?
Is there? I just want to just try something first. As these orbs are sort of like, they're slipping out, right? You said they're sort of like moving as we try and grab onto them. They just seem to just shift in place.
Yeah, they feel like they're. It's kind of I keep saying this throughout this entire campaign. It's weird in the sense of it's the type of weird that the displaced figure out of time seem to have. Like it doesn't seem to like being here without a proper motive.
Okay. I just want to see how what happened. To make a minor illusion of myself next to me, trying to grab it from a different angle to see if it reacts to that, as I try to grab it from another angle to help see if it even registers that or not.
Okay. Aerowen, I would like you to roll me a speed defense task of 3. As the moment you do that,
Oh.
The shadows seem to they become they get I don't know what's a good word for this. You know how a symbiote suit in a lot of animation has the kind of like stretchy, like tendril kind of element? The shadows, it's still kind of solid, but it splits apart, and like both of them just sort of they do a whap on the face. Or are they trying to hit you in the face? They're like, no.
Okay. Speed defense. Speed check. Difficulty 3.
Yep.
Is it? Uh, sure. Let's just. It's just gonna be a straight roll. Let's see what happens.
Yep.
Hey, what? Just made it.
It goes through the illusion and it disappears it, and the other one like tries to go like right and like smack on the nose, and then it tries to follow up with like, I hate this is my comparison point, but like Catholic school nun ruler kind of thing. You're just like, it's like.
Okay, not gonna try that again.
It doesn't seem to like two people being at it at once.
Okay. Interesting. It's like, okay, that's interesting. Also interesting that it registered the. That's just a lot of interesting things. Oh, okay, sorry about that. And then I'm gonna try the actual speed of. Let's put a point of effort and just.
That doesn't sound very happy.
No,
That
that's just a.
is- Yeah, it seems like it moves out of your grasp, and it's like a very rambunctious bunny almost in terms of like its movements. It's just like meh, meh. It's very like what was that yakety sax moment almost, where like the orb tries to move out of place and it's just for a couple of seconds Aerowen just kind of chasing it.
Just sort of had the Benny Hill.
Yep, pretty much. But yeah, it seems like if you give it a couple more goes, it'll let you do it. But right now, one of them, like one set of the arrangement, is like not agreeing with you.
Okay.
Anon, do you try and do anything throughout all of this?
Yeah, I want to give it a go.
Show us your moves.
Show us your moves. Oof.
Again, don't forget, I will allow an intellect roll for this if you want to make the argument for anything. I will even allow an onslaught to be used for this, though that might be slight overkill.
Well, I was kind of thinking of using my scan ability
Oh,
on my specific. I kind of forgot I
Oh.
had this.
I am great. I know all of my abilities.
Yes, I know my character in and out.
Oh,
'Cause
oh,
it's it's been 2 weeks.
been
Yeah,
2
because
weeks.
scanning it's been it's like kind of perceiving,
yeah,
while also
yeah. I would say
messing around with it.
Yeah, I would say try. Give that a shot. Still-
Yay.
So using the scan ability, which I think just even using it will not be any sort of difficulty in and of itself. So if you wouldn't mind putting that in the chat for me real quick so that I
Sure.
can double check the specifics of said ability. You can scan an area.
And that
equal in
uses
size.
intellect.
Yep. Facts GM feels are pertinent about the matter energy. Okay. Point of order. It feels like this is a very weird comparison, but the sci-fi equivalent of if you've ever gone to like a greenhouse or like the greenhouse sections and like and like one of those larger like Lowe's or Home Depot kind of stores, and you bought the packets of seeds in them. When you're sensing it, it feels like there's something natural inside of the orbs
In each one?
in each one.
Huh.
Like there's and from scanning it, it's almost like you feel this very faint. It's not quite like a voice, but there's this sense of like something's trying to reach the ground. Like it's hoping to just be planted.
Can I sense? Do I sense that there's a place to open the orbs?
Not quite, but you do, from taking the time to scan the device, you do see that there is an arrangement, a pattern along the device
Mm-hmm.
that as you try and reach out to it, if you were to touch that segment, the shadowy movements seem far less jittery and skittish, and it almost seems like if you were to kind of give it the physical equivalent of like a deep tissue massage, like the orb just kind of calms down, and it's sort of like it doesn't make an actual noise, but it just sort of like it's just kind of it's not as fussy. I'll put it to you that way. Like when you treat it kind of like gently from having scanned it, it seems like it's far less angry at you.
Interesting. Hey, everyone, I think there's something inside these orbs.
Well, that makes sense. This whole place is some sort of way of protecting and storing information and life and memories from the past, right?
Yeah, there's something almost, I don't want to say organic or living per se, but there is something of life inside, if that makes any sense.
Oh my god, they're turning people into orbs now. What the fuck is going on?
Hold on,
Oh,
Craven.
wait,
I don't
Craven.
think, I do not think that is the case. I hope not. Oh my lord.
If a floating construct unit could raise its singular crystalline eyebrow, this is kind of what you're seeing from the flying V formation. That again, throughout this whole time, they have been patiently waiting back near the door. Like they seem like they're not trying to intrude in any way.
Can I try like deep massaging the orb?
Deep massage.
That this I regret making this gesture in so many different ways. But as you do that, the orb goes to shadow, and it seems to.
No. It's Bill.
Oh, what did you do?
It's Bill.
Oh my god, they're people! The orbs are people! Anyways, as you do that, the other shadow formation, or the orbs that would form the shadow component, they all seem to they turn into your direction, and they also seem to begin lighting up with shadow and moving of their own accord.
Oh. Well, this is nice as I still like deep massage it.
Throughout this process, which probably takes a good chunk of time because it takes a little bit to get them to cooperate and such, the full panel, the full top half is lit up in the light arrangement. The bottom half is lit with shadow. You don't have to keep deep tissue massage.
Okay.
You're okay. I'm not gonna make you keep doing that for more and more time on stream.
Anan like shakes their hand. Deep massage takes a lot of work.
And as you do, there's just this very faint, like, rumbling noise as all the orbs, they lock into place and they all just sink into the ground, into the platform. And it's sudden and very subtle, but when you look back at the ground, which had been that same sort, the material that composed the platform, it it seemed like it was made of just the same coloration of the stone. It was the same stone and material that formed the wall of the dome with all the starlight. But now it looks like earth. Each of the orbs descends down into the ground, and as they do, they light a full insignia, a full risen sun for the top half, and its shadowy reflection for the bottom half. And as the light and shadows spread to interact with one another, it almost looks like, for anyone who's ever looked at the mycelium for fungi and like various kinds of mushroom when they spread along the ground, because folks, when you see like a mushroom, it's always like the cap is like the spot that folks like eat and like they see the main part of, but below the ground it's like roots spreading out everywhere. They all seem to interact and merge with one another, like roots overlapping at different points. And the dome, which was about 20-30 feet up, it seems to expand a little bit, just about another 10-15 feet up. And you all watch as at first it's very slow, but it's like branches and roots of a tree begin spreading out from the ground. And the branches seem to connect out to all of the individual star points and starlight all across the dome's walls. And it's like a massive tree just suddenly erupts. Or at least it would seem like it erupts, but there's a few seconds where you see the branches growing, and then it's just fully grown and in bloom. It's just there. A mixture of metallic technological components, fragments of gem shards, and split in right down the middle between light and shadow, melding together, spreading out, and it feels like there's a pulse of energy that just emanates out of it. And each of the floating constructs just sort of comes by. The main leader one that had the biggest sort of crystalline eye looks at the group, and it says, "Well done. You have solved the puzzle. Thus, you shall be rewarded. Knowledge is earned. Knowledge is to be shared. But at times, the sacredness of the information you find must be protected. As such, the dozens upon dozens of rooms within this temple each form a component of knowledge, of history, of life, of memory. Welcome to the central core." Each of the little floating constructs, the leader one just sort of turns back to the rest. "Now we may rest. Gazer unit protocols are complete. Initiate next cycle." Protocol. Each of them slowly flies up into the tree and finds a spot and seems to become just like if you ever imagine the kind of way that, like, let's say even cliche ones like depictions of fossils and like Jurassic Park, the kind of like almost like still life sort of picture that happens when the fossils are like dug up. Each of the constructs, which I can now fully tell you the name is a gazer, because I've been having to avoid saying that all night, they all just sink into each different branches, which again, there's multiple pinpricks of light all across this place. And it's almost like they were fossilized and always a part of the tree. The bottom has sort of a mass opening to it, big enough to fit any of you, and definitely big enough to fit the whole party. And for reference, for anyone who gets this particular parallel, if you've ever been in the Chamber of the Faith rooms for Final Fantasy X, that's a lot of what the rooms kind of look like. The platform where the Faith spirits, where Aeons, the summoned spirits for the games, are brought up, that's kind of what the platform looked like originally. And it took on that shape once the tree began to fully sprout. And it's like the opening hallway into it that leads deep into the tree. What do you do?
What are we waiting for? Let's go.
Okay, yes. They did say starting the next cycle. Hopefully, we didn't kick off the tent world coming a thing.
Yeah, I mean, if we do, at least we will be one of the surviving ones, and I'm alright with it if that's the case.
Hooray!
Perhaps
exactly-
we should just.
Go on. Go on.
Sorry. Perhaps we should take a look and see what's here first before we jump to any conclusions.
Good idea.
Wanna look at these orbs? Try to see if there's really someone inside it, cause I'm all down for messing with stuff again.
I don't think there's people in there. I think there's seeds. Maybe creatures. Paulson gets really up on there. And like rubs at the orb and tries to look inside of it.
I was about to talk while I was muted. Are you touching the half of it that is light or the half of it that is shadow?
Let's say light, because presumably you can see into it.
Yeah, it's because again, it's strange. It's like light became a solid construct. Like, this is very silly, but one of the best parallels I have is the kind of hard light constructs from that Symmetra makes in Overwatch. It has that kind of weird thing where it's like light just suddenly has made half of a tree, and it's really it makes no sense. But as you touch it, it feels like dirt, like just fresh soil. And if you trace your fingers along it, right before it reaches the shadowy portion of the tree, it starts to get wetter and wetter as you get closer to the shadow. But it feels like, imagine all of the different paths and routes that Nopalzine has ever gone through the forest. It feels like, whether touching it or if you just get up on a little bit of the branch, because nothing is multiple stories up too high. It's just a big fucking tree. It's like fresh dirt. It's like wandering through the forest. It's like being among freshly tilled ground.
This is an archive. The Shadow Archive was, they made memories of animals back there, right? This
Yeah.
is, I think this is a vault for plants, for life from the eighth world. I think they're keeping it here. They put it away. They knew something was coming. They put it here so that it could grow again.
Wait, so you're saying that despite them acknowledging the cycles of the worlds each passing, they still preserve some aspects of the world for a chance of the eighth world to return? Wouldn't that be a bit cataclysmic?
I don't think it's to return. I
Maybe
think
To
it's
remember.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm thinking too far ahead of this.
Do you?
Festival.
Well, if you think they preserved life, like plants and things, do you think there's looking at this technology, do you think there was a way they could have preserved memories such as us, humanoids, or people?
Well, someone had to build this place, didn't they? If they
Yeah, but
kept creatures, if they kept plants, then it makes sense that there must be someone. Maybe they left people behind. Maybe they put them in stasis and to sleep. Maybe they're here with us now.
Napoleon Hanan. You remember those guys back then? The hologram looking guys that just thanked us or whatever. I don't really care about them. Maybe it's just
The
them.
Gaia.
Yeah. Those the guys probably the people who are uploaded into this archive, and yeah.
Maybe we can find that archive somewhere in here.
I think we're very close to finding out what your story is, Hanan.
I honestly don't. This is the reason why I am here with you all, but now that I am actually here,
Do you feel ready to confront this?
I'm sorry. How do sorry, I didn't hear you.
Do you feel ready to confront this?
Honestly, I do not know, but it's a bit too late to turn back now.
We're waiting
So-
on another time.
This is why we're here. Why we're all here. Let's see what this archive has in store.
You go in?
Take the lead then. You're the one who's, opening all these gates, being the one who related to all these Gaias or whatever.
Just like I did not know I had this ability.
I'm not saying
I'm not
I'm
saying.
not saying I'm not cool and everything, but I also don't want to be the front line.
Yeah, I also don't like being in the
I'm
front
kinda
and the
squishy.
tension.
Take the lead, nerd.
The biggest nerd
Damn it,
of the
Craven.
entire group is calling you nerd.
Look, I'm a scientist, not a nerd.
Whoa!
Say-
Oh,
Hold on.
Same
Hold on.
same level of obsessive detail, different name. I challenge
Spoken
all
like a true
scientists in the chat
scientist,
to
too.
dispute this.
Yeah, spoken like a true scientist, though. I'm a scientist, not a nerd.
See, if you want to look at nerds, just look at Aerowen, alright? He's the nerd. He knows a lot of things. I'm just make shit. I just make shit.
Oh, that's an acknowledgement of his own limits in that case. This is like, I know what I do. I make things. Other one actually knows things.
There we go. It's like a backhanded compliment.
yeah. I was like, I don't know how I'd take that.
It's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, and a little bit of column C. I don't know what to do.
So,
But carrying on, does the group enter this sort of opening in the tree?
Well, is there anything else any of you would like to see? No, Paul's in. This is. It seems like this is the section of plants and life of that. That seems more of your purview. Was there anything you wanted to discover?
All of it. We don't have that kind of time.
This is true, but maybe just one, or
Maybe there's something we can take with us.
Let's try to take a pepper. Because if it's really from the 8th world, then it's really aged and therefore really delicious.
Just imagining there's a pickled jar substance somewhere here. It's just like, hey, you know about kimchi? This
Yeah.
is eighth world
I thought of kimchi. It's like this is
We've
the
had-
best kimchi ever.
We've
Like a
had this in here.
Millennium old kimchi that's just been fermenting.
It's just
Oh, I
been.
want kimchi.
It's less a physical substance at that point. It's become ethereal in terms of how potent it is. It's like aerosol in terms of how you intake it.
Oh my god.
Not even trying to do food. Still ended up. I've reached my quota for the session. Punch out.
God. Well, perhaps you can bring something with. We do not know if we're going to come back here on the way back.
What is a common problem in society? Disease, is it not usually?
That's too
Hunger.
real, Simon. That's too real.
Even with the kind of like structures that are built into the world to account for health, people still get lost out in places without access to things. More, but less by nature of institutional practice, and more by nature of
This is just the right.
Yeah.
It just
Supply
how, like,
lines and
like a mercenary goes out and gets stuck over in one of the penumbral like border regions with the umbral zone over in the fire region and can't make it back and like runs out of supplies or gets sick or gets like heat stroke essentially and can't recover. Like that's not by nature of institution. It's part of the job. You just run into it.
because I think Nepalzin, if he had to try and like find any one thing quickly, it would probably be something that's like a survival tool, like a plant that is especially useful for like immediate survival, like food, a medicinal
Herbs.
plant, right?
Herbs.
Herbs.
Is Nopalzine thinking about this right now?
Yes.
There's a little bit of one of the shadowy branches. It just like, and it leaves like if you imagine like someone has to like cut off leaves from different sort of base like herb plants that you use for preparing different recipes, like there's a sprig of it there that just sort of unfurls, like where the tip of your blade could foreseeably just cut it off without issue.
So he's like thinking about it and like sort of mumbling to himself, and then sees that, oh, did you all? Whoa. May I? He
You
reaches out like very gently and says it out loud to the...
So I need a difficulty 7. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, sure,
It
why
could,
not?
but nah. It just sort of, and it releases. It sort of drops the sprig. You still need to like prepare it, but we can work out after the game what particular
Totally.
ailment and such that applies to. But it just seems like the coloration. It's like the dark side of the moon, like pure white light into like rainbow spectrum effect. It's like all of the leaves, like there's the stalk of it is like a pure prismatic white, that then all of the leaves coming off of it are various spectrum colors. Happy Pride, everybody, by the way.
Yeah.
But it's it's shiny and it kind of radiates, but from your knowledge, best you can tell, you'd have to look more thoroughly into it, but it looks safe.
So he takes that and puts it in like a little vial, I think, that he's got for that. Looks like a it's science fantasy, so it's like a compressed tank thing for taking samples. And then he looks around and goes, well, this isn't fair. Core, present new sample. And he rummages around in his bag, and I think I said he had like quetzal feathers and stuff on his armor.
Yeah.
But I think he's also got like flowers. I think he takes one of the fresh flowers that he adorns himself with, and like looks for a empty sphere, if there is such a thing.
There are the spheres that you saw just sort of became part of it. It's not so much dotting the whole of the tree, but if you present something, it's almost like it's unsettling, but still oddly beautiful in the way it happens, and that it's like a tendril of shadow that moves very much like water. Like that's the other thing that strikes you about the sprig is that it seems to materialize from and move from a texture of very wet, viscous, watery type of substance to these. It solidifies into that. So you have a sense that the light seems to represent earth, and the shadow has elements of water. So earth and water are part
Together,
and parcel
yeah.
of making this up. And it takes the feather, and it's like a new small branch extends out from the tree, and it makes a new pinprint of light along the dome, like walls. And it has a similar pattern to it. Like it starts one node, and then it spreads out to form the shape of the flower that you put.
Now we're even. And then he, like, shoves the sample into his belt pouches. Okay. Let's go. Before I break something.
Again. You break it, and then you break it again.
For the third time.
And then you break it again for the third time. But as you all go in this central core to a temple of the long forgotten but seemingly still flourishing and alive remnants of the eighth world, that not so much even stands before you or towers before you, but sprouts and blooms before you, you start going into this lower section of the tree. And as you do, that is where we're going to take our break, everybody, as that seems like a very good spot to... I was loving so much of this that we're taking, and we started a little bit late, so this is about at the halfway point for us. But thank you everyone who's been tuning in, and yeah, it's a wild ride, and we still got another half of this to go, so there's a little bit more in the story to unfold for this evening. But as we think and ponder a little bit about the nature of reality, existence, and creating a world and all that, why don't you wind down and take a break by heading over to roll20.net/start/WTTP and sign up for your free account today on Roll20. Over 4 million people use Roll20's virtual tabletop to power their favorite game, and with modules galore on the marketplace, you'll definitely find something for your group to enjoy. So we will be back in approximately 10 minutes while we take care of different things, and we're gonna tide you over with a little break movie advertising for different things. But if you haven't already, drink water, take your meds, release all of the tension you have built up in your body, do movement and all that. I don't know why I could just grab my chest, that happens by reflex now. And take care of yourselves. We'll be back in approximately 10 minutes, everyone. So as always, love you very much, and we'll see you in about 10 minutes. See you soon, everybody.
Thanks so much for hanging out with us today. If you get a second during break, you should check out one of our amazing sponsors. We're now proudly sponsored by Roll20, the best virtual tabletop for all your role-playing needs. Over 4 million people use Roll20's virtual tabletop to power their favorite games. And with more modules than you can shake a stick at on their new revamped storefront, you'll definitely find something for your group to enjoy. Sign up today by clicking the link below or heading to roll20.net/start/WTTP. Tabletop Loot is an amazing place to get your dice bags, dice boxes, and more. And now you can get 15% off your purchase at tabletoploot.com by using the code WTTPDICE at checkout. Tabletop Loot. Your party starts here. While you're at it, check out our so awesome merch store, So Nerdware. So Nerdware is the place to find all your Welcome to the Party merch and other amazing stuff too. Head on over to sonerdware.com and use the code WELCOME at checkout to get 10% off your next purchase. So Nerdware. It's what the nerds wear. Devin Rue, the amazing mistress of maps, has kindly supported the channel since the beginning and provides graphics for many of our streams. Head on over to rueinc.com to check out some of the best fantasy cartography on the web. Our Patreon supports the creators and producers of the channel by providing Roll20 subscriptions, cost coverage for video hosting, and more. If you want to support the channel while getting podcasts a week early, gaming articles that are published on Patreon first, a shout out during our break, and more, head on over to patreon.com/welcomepartyrpg and throw us a buck or $5. And last, but certainly not least, help out the party. Subs and bits not only support the stream, but also every 500 bits or a Tier 1 sub gives a player or DM of your choice a reroll or system equivalent, and every 1000 bits or Tier 2 sub gives a player or DM of your choice a crit or system equivalent. Thanks again for hanging out with us today. The game will be back in just a few minutes.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Alrighty, we should be. Oh, wait, hold on. Yep, yes, I have unmuted myself as well in the Zoom because I always forget to do that. Hello there, everyone. We're back and we're raring to go into the existential revelations that our party has been uncovering as they explore a forgotten temple now brimming with life and possibility in the lower lands past the northern tower of the northern sections of the floating world of Aerowen. If you have no idea what I'm talking about anyway, perhaps you're in the wrong area, so please stick by nevertheless, as we enjoy your company and our players appreciate your support. And on that note, we want to give thanks, because I forgot to do so earlier, to a few folks in our Patreon who are of particular note for helping, keep the lights on, support all the creators and storytellers here, in particular in our VIP Host with the Most circle, Donald G, Nerdy T, Michelle E, Abigator, Nino, and Andy T. Thank you so much for your support and contributions and helping keep things going. And also, this is a mistake on my end that I want to rectify now as well. We are also, through this show and through many other shows on Welcome to the Party, are involved in a Tiltify feature that is allowing us to contribute to, make sure I have the correct details. Discord, please agree with me here. Yes, we are working to help support the bail project, which is working specifically for supporting folks who are sitting in jail before trial simply because they couldn't afford bail. The Bail Project specifically is a nonprofit org designed to combat mass incarceration and disrupt the money bail system one person at a time. We are in an era of time that has grown increasingly more public, despite all efforts by the media and otherwise, to push down attention and evidence of such efforts to combat a world that believes certain lives are worth less than. Black lives, black trans lives, black disabled lives. All of these lives matter. This is not up for debate, and this is something that the whole channel subscribes by, and our whole our whole team here subscribes by. And I in particular want to give a moment of remembrance to, in particular, the several trans women, in particular the black trans women over the past couple of weeks who have passed away, killed, murdered, must be correct with language, who are getting less attention, not because those who have been given attention do not deserve it, but because, as is often the case with many stories, certain voices are being treated as though they matter more even among marginalization. So, Bail Project is part of combating that for folks stuck in jail. There are many other orgs, including there are funds, LGBTQ fund project related to helping folks in immigration detention. There are several others local to your scenes and protests. Look into them. Help out folks. If you can't be there in person, there's several docs, and find your disabled friends. A lot of them know all different ways. We've all shown up through all of our different positions to help each other out. The world is unjust, but we can always imagine better. That is the part that is crucial and always hope-bringing from storytelling and what we do together. All of that out of the way, let us transition back into game mode. As last we left off, the group had entered the bottom portion and opening of a massive tree serving as the very core and center of this forgotten temple in the lower lands of Aerowen, which up until this point had not been explored for fear of a dangerous fog that had only until recently never pulled away. Now the party finds themselves in the very literal center of it all, of what might be it all. As you enter this tree opening, it's a mix between almost like a little cubby nook that one might have in their home, set aside to just read books at night by table light, and like a personal library, but not of books, of images, of murals depicting various accounts of individuals. Along the left side, figures depicted with the brightest of colors, of vivid reds and oranges and yellows. seemingly shown in a way that depicts them giving life, giving connection to all those felt within their warmth. On the other half, a similar depiction, but more of motifs of moon and stars, seemingly where the two overlap. Depictions of affection, of sweetness, of warmth, as though the point in which shadow and light meet, there is love, and which the point in which shadow and light meet, there is balance. And the room, again, it seems to defy the actual constraints of the outside appearance, as while the tree is massive, this room both feels too small and too big to be in here at the same point. The perspective in it feels very off, but the party has dealt with similar things before. What do you do?
Aerowen is just gonna go take a look at the nearest image. Just go, just like sort of look around, peel off a little bit from the party to the nearest, I suppose, wall. Just look at it, observe, carefully just run a hand through it, across it.
Do you go towards a segment that is light or into shadow?
I'm gonna go into the segment of shadow.
As you do, it feels as though each little depiction you touch, it feels like your own sort of like memory access banks from which you pull from how to store the illusions. It's like a replication of them as you touch one. It feels wet to the touch, like water, just fluidly moving back and forth. But then it shapes into something beautiful. It reminds you of things you have not seen in quite a long time.
Yeah. Just gonna stand there, sort of just stare at it, look up at it, hands still on it. Just running across just a little bit more. I guess this is something, I guess this is where you came from. Just gonna mutter that out loud. Perhaps something similar.
That is what Aerowen is doing. What are the rest of you doing?
How about tapping at one of the murals, trying to see if there's a switch or anything, or like a button?
Could you say that again? You're coming in just a little slightly faint and somewhat not as clear.
Sorry about that. Just tapping at one of the murals, trying to see if there's a button or anything on it, in it.
So you're just tapping it to see if it reacts in any way to you?
Yeah.
Which side, to light or shadow?
Let's go for the shadow. Yeah, shadow.
As you tap, the murals seem to... It reminds you of something you also haven't seen in a while. It's like the movement of the water is fluid and graceful and very beautiful. And then at other moments, as you touch spots along the wall, it's like a circus performer, just moving gracefully through the air. There's something acrobatic about the way the water just shapes into different figures. That again, it's like water and shadow have mixed together and just forming little shapes that are dancing along the walls.
Like able to to choreograph this particular set of movements as I experiment. And,
Are you just tapping at random, or is there anything rhythmic to your pattern?
I'm starting to tap, like I start tapping it to see if anything's happening, and as I see this happening, I'm gonna try to see if I can get something like try to see if I can influence this, or if it's just happening and there's not really much I can do to direct it. Would that
As you
be,
do. As you do, at any moment where you get almost like a, for lack of better phrasing, a beat going of some kind, it begins to dance in tandem to whatever you do. It's like it has a memory of something, of a beautiful, of a either very ridiculous or a very graceful performance. It's hard to tell because it's just every now and then where it's happening, but it just appears.
I was just curious. What do the rest of you think about this?
On that note, what are the rest of you doing? What are Craven, Hanan, and Nopalzine doing?
Hanan wants to see, kind of looks around and wants to see if the symbol on their chest, the sun symbol, can be found in that room.
You do see there's a point along the wall that shows something. It looks similar to the symbol on your chest.
Okay, if I walk around, the minute I see the familiar symbol, I'll kind of run over to it and kind of hesitantly, like, put my hand over it.
The top half lights, the bottom half is shadow.
Whoa.
As you touch it, the top half becomes more radiant, but the bottom half stays a duller sort of shadow.
Huh. Do I notice if anything else in the room is affected? If when the light part is lit?
I will at this point, I will offer you a GM intrusion.
Ooh.
Where something will appear. I will not tell you what it is. Whether friend or foe in the moment. And do you accept it? But I give you the option.
Oh, you know I'll take it.
I know you will. So you got 1 experience point, and
Yeah.
1 experience point goes to whomever else you choose.
Oh yeah. I will. Wait. Where's my experience? Okay. I will give one to. I'll give one to Nopalzine.
As
Cool.
you're rooting around, and your hand touches it and it lights up, you're noticing that the lower half is dulled,
Mm-hmm.
and as that happens, it's like a mirror image of yourself, Hanan, made of water and shadow, just appears behind you.
Whoa. Hello?
Hello.
Even though I'm facing the shadow me, I look around and go, "Do you see this?"
No one else sees it. No, I'm just kidding. Everyone sees it.
I was prepared to go, what are you talking about?
I knew. I saw the intake, and I was like, wait, no.
And just kidding.
No.
Damn it.
It's it is noticeable to everyone. And the form is like an exact duplicate of Hanan, though maybe a little bit older. Like it's.
Oh my god!
It's
time traveling.
Was that in character, Craven?
Yeah. It's like, oh my god, that's another Hanan from the future.
No. No.
He looks old. That's not you. You still look young.
Maybe we shouldn't jump to conclusions.
Paulson has like been looking around and snaps back to reality, like looking at what's happening, and gets close and looks, like squints. Huh. If I didn't know any better, I'd say that's like your parent or something. Nah, that's nah.
He's not. Hanan is not a clone. Aren't you?
No. There's a very easy way to solve this. So we have Hanan over here. We have Shadow Nan over here. Hello, Shadow Hanan. I am Maroon. If you are from the future, you would know what I am about to say next.
The scene
I don't
is
know
made.
if that's the way to.
Even Himbo's like, I don't think that's how you do it, man. I don't think that's how you do it.
God damn it! I was so close to making it through this session without like keeling over from laughter.
It was such a good, serious moment, and then it was just like, you know what I'm about to say next?
You know what I'm about to do? Coming
Nah,
at you,
bro. No.
It's your himbo coming at you.
It's your Himbo coming at you.
My
Okay.
god.
No, yeah, Vidatia Violet, I share your sentiment. This is certainly a lol-worthy moment, but it's you see the figure just kind of laughs a little bit at that thought, and it's like, I don't actually know what they're about to say. I'm not from the future. Given all you've experienced, I would have thought the first guess would have been the past, but I suppose maybe I should drop my expectations.
That's what I said.
Hanan, there's no way the past means Hanan is looking younger the older he gets, they get. That's just reverse aging. Hanan, did you do reverse aging? What is your secret? I need to know it now.
You're muted, by the way, Kupo.
Damn it!
I saw the realization.
Yeah.
This is just a domino effect of like hilarity happening in this moment. The first half was like existential revelation. This is just was the expression first is tragedy, then is farce. We're at the farce stage.
Yeah. Craven, this is why I'm here, to discover what my secrets. I don't know my secrets. They would not be secrets if I knew them.
If you knew them and keep it from us, it's a secret too, right?
You watch the form move closer to Craven.
What's up?
I promise this. I am not here to hurt.
That's what the other thing said, and then the next thing I know, they summon a goddamn hologram monster to my friends, and I gotta do.
Craven, let
Those
us
were
not
defensive
yell.
measures.
Let us not yell at the shadow being.
I'll also note, as a point of clarity and a point of also hilarity from my end, I was occasionally, because of things I misheard from Haroon saying, I was hearing the phrase Shadow Non, so I was wondering what exactly Shadow Non is bread.
Oh damn, that's what I get every time when I order sag paneer.
It's just like I just get myself some
Yeah.
Some Shadow Nan.
Shadow Non. That's where we're at. But the
Put some
figure
butter on
the
that
figure
Shadow
moves
Nan.
close to Craven, and you watch it's just sort of emerging out of the ground. There's like a little seedling, and Craven, You've seen these kinds of things very rarely before.
What is it?
It's a very valuable component called an iodum.
Ooh, grab your hands at it. Can I get it? Can I touch it? Can I take it? Can I touch it? Wait.
You're very eager. For knowledge, I thought at first, but perhaps just for anything shiny.
Well, kind of for knowledge, but the knowledge is dependable. If it's a knowledge for like something organic per se, I'm not interested in those kind of things. No, I don't care about anatomy.
Craven, they move the orb of material, the iodum, into your hand, and as they do, you have sort of a vision of the storm walls near your home where you grew up, and you find yourself for a moment seeing, it's almost like a different version of yourself there. Perhaps someone who's a little bit older, maybe a few generations back, almost like they're riding on a sail, like a sailboat, but far more mechanical and technological along the storm wall. Does this help with winning me some trust?
What? Huh? How did you even... Where did you get this?
I didn't get it from anywhere. It comes from you.
It is? This looks so familiar, but I don't remember ever seeing it before.
Well, it's not
Maybe
you. It's not you. Someone like you. Likely someone related.
Yeah, right. As if I had a parents to begin with. All I know is that I just probably pop out of nowhere.
We all come from somewhere, Graven. We are born of the connections we make to others and have made to others, and it looks as though yours is a little bit on the chaotic end. But I digress.
Graven just, for like the first time, he's probably looking way sober than he is, and he just turns around and he's like, yeah, guess we can trust this guy.
Gender is a rather odd thing when it comes to memories. We don't particularly have one way or the other. We simply exist.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh, no worries. It's a minor correction. There are folks who like to hold on to such things, but they are valuable to many and such, so
Can
carrying
you try dig deep into this? I feel like my man's all messed up. I mean, it's always messed up, but and it's just like, yeah, just looking like this. I don't know.
and the figure just goes to the, what you now see is the back wall, the northern back wall that seems a little bit closer than it used to be, and it's almost like the wall is covered in a mural depicting a map of a world you don't quite know, but different spots along it look familiar. Like, there's positions along it that seem like they would line up where different elements of places maybe some of you have grown up would be, but it's not a place you recognize.
If everyone could, as they see this map, just solely from their own minds, just begin drawing out a map of what we know of Aerowen, most recent updated map, and just sort of like as a holographic overlay on top, comparison overlay.
It fits.
Why are you showing us all this in the first place? What?
Because that is my role. I am what is left of those who watch over this place.
But you're also Hana.
I am not. I do not recognize the name actually, but it is nice to be. It is nice to be considered similar to someone quite so pleasant.
You take the form of them.
Well, they are Solaran, and I am Sombran. We often adapt a mirror of those who are our counterparts.
Whoa, it's like your sibling.
In a manner of speaking, we are perhaps not related by blood, but by purpose, role, history.
What
Family is
What-
very odd.
what is that then? What is the Solaran? What are you?
Calm. You've come here. I am here as a guardian of the archives and of the core itself. I am as many before me were. What you might call a librarian. It seems rather bland, but it's rather useful for bits of information.
Hey, I know we're just a bunch of weirdos that kind of stumbled into your house. We're from beyond. I don't know if you're actually there or if you're just like a really smart projection. That's not my thing. But seems to me a lot of you Sombrans are the people that are running this place.
In a manner of speaking, we're some of the ones who lasted.
So does that make the Solarans the key that unlocks all this stuff? Or is that just a coincidence?
That is true, no pausing. We have not seen any other Solarans like me.
Didn't Legaia have similar markings, or am I mis?
Legaia was more of the Sombran variety.
Oh, okay. That's my own.
No. That's
Yeah.
no, but that also makes sense in the narrative. It's just
Oh,
like
yeah.
This is a lot. This is a lot, and I have
no,
I
yeah,
have
yeah.
15 tabs open, and none of them are helping me.
No,
This is-
yeah, it's like
That's me.
yeah, it's like no, wait, no, more similar to this shadow being, not actually Hanan. Yeah.
Are there Solaran projections like you?
I would imagine if you'd gone to some other aspects of the temple, but from what I can see, and you see them sort of like outstretching like a bit of, like they outstretch their hand, and it's like a fragment of the earth around you on the floor just rises up, and it's like a tree branch just feeds into their hand for a second, and it's like, huh. It would seem none of you were very keen on actually exploring the temple, but we're quite keen on exploring the caverns below.
That was a calculated move.
We dropped in and we all just followed.
I
That's
joke.
said calculated.
I jest. No, it's good to see that humor hasn't been lost with the changes. But
Oh,
yeah,
that was a joke.
the figure keeps laughing, and it's like it's a very deep, rich, warm sort of laugh. And they say, to answer your questions, I am a Sombran. I am just one of the set of people here who guard over each of these 4 temples, dedicated to preserving the knowledge, history, and memories of the 8th world.
4 temples.
If I may
Yeah.
be
You
so
heard
bold,
4, right?
Well, they mentioned. Well, Legaia mentioned the other combinations of elements, other archives. So probably those.
Are we of the temple of Earth then?
Let me show you. And the figure just sort of walks casually to the map, and you see it changes and it splits where there's various combinations of light and shadow across it. In each cycle, new themes, new aspects of reality shape and breathe life and turn into the life that will take over for the next cycle. Never with conquest or with harm, but simply the progression of how each world changes. Much of what people see about time and experience is linear. But to answer your question, I believe it was Nepalsian, yes?
Yeah.
I am less of a fragment of Anand's history and more just part of a circle. One does not ever really look at the start of a circle and one given point. I am simply, at any given point, there is a beginning and end.
Wait. Circles are supposed to have a start? Because all I see is a circle. Because you look at a circle, there's no point of a circle that you start at. It's just all a circle. Unless...
Precisely.
Is there some,
Yes.
is there some sort of secret here? Am I missing something?
No, you've gotten to the point quite quickly.
There's no point of a circle, so how can there be a point?
You could choose any given point along it. They all are valid to think of as the start or the beginning. There is no true start or end to a circle.
Harun, it's like the beginning is the end. Is the beginning is the end. Is the beginning is the end.
Exactly.
It's just looping. It's an infinite loop.
Exactly.
Error 404, Harun not found.
But yeah, each cycle that begins anew is born of the previous one. From time and possibility came shadow and light, and from shadow and light came elements. Each of these temples is devoted to a synthesis of those four main elements, to be revealed in time when people required more knowledge and a return to history. As a Sombran, I'm simply one half of the Guardians here and the Archivist, or if you would like to be more bland and blunt, a librarian of sorts.
So, what's happening to necessitate the opening of this one?
Perhaps catastrophe and calamity in the apocalyptic ecclesiastical end of days, or perhaps simply things change, and it is inevitable.
Those possibilities are very beautiful. The other one was possibilities is...
Given that you are among the first to return to a place like this in a long time, I would say that what will come from this place and the next aspect of this cycle will be up to you to choose. I suppose the question to ask is, what would you like to know next?
How did the last cycle end?
The islands. There were once grand mountain tops, broke and rose to the sky, people wishing to find safety from the fog. In some ways it's said that when one cycle ends, that the start of the next one destroys the previous, but there are many who do not agree with this view. It is simply change. Change has no impulse, it has no intention. And we just had, oh my lordy, we had so many games raiding with 9 raiders and hosting us stream for 11. Hello there, Maddie. Are you doing that thing again where you're being amazing and bringing us fantastic people? I think you are. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome from the realms
Hello.
of Dragonlance.
Yeah, welcome from the realms of Dragonlance into a realm of floating
Oh yeah,
islands.
they were doing Dragonlance, weren't they? Fun.
By the way, we can hear you. By the way, Harun, whoever you're talking to, or whoever speaking to, just a heads up. But Hello there, Raiders. It's lovely to have you. Hello, Death by Mage. It's nice to have you in the chat. You join us at a moment of revelation as our party is speaking with essentially an archivist of the previous cycle of the world. And the party is taking in basically lore truth bombs happening all at once. And it's just like, well,
Universe brain.
are we at universe brain? I think we're at full on, like, beyond that, if there is a category beyond that. Like,
Multiversal brain?
just like 7 brain. It's an after image of the same galaxy brain, but 7 times. No, wait, pardon. It's 9 in our case. But no, the figure also, they point to a spot, northernmost point of the map, that it would be easy to surmise is where your current location is, and you see that there are 3 pinpricks of light. One in the west, one in the east, and one in the south. I ask again. To an archivist, to simply someone who has held on to memories for the sake of history and posterity. Not with gloom or sadness, but with happiness for what history grants us to those willing to seek out the information. I ask of you this. What would you like to know next?
I have another question.
Yes.
How did you know I was looking for that image that you just showed to me?
Many who come here, knowingly or unknowingly, impart their will into this place. This place is in part formed with the last remnants of life and energy and Numenera, as your world calls it. Your will is impressed into this place, whether it be frustration at, I believe you called it an old boomer tech of some sort.
Yeah, just never mind that. Just
But or it be the discovery of a brilliant, fascinating tree with the ability to cast illusions and such with a dear friend. Whether it be a performer, acrobatic and nimble in nature, and cunning, though perhaps a little overzealous at times. A wanderer of the woods, and kind soul. Or simply another counterpart to myself to help guide the way, unknowingly. That is what it means to be a Solaran or a Sombran. We are archivists. We are keepers. We are simply those who were here before, and some of us linger for as long as we can.
where was the thing that you showed me? Where was it? What was it? I feel, I don't understand. Why don't I just know about it? You said that it was pulled out of my brain, right? So why didn't I know about it? It's like,
Sometimes the things we wish to know about ourselves do not come about through free will. Sometimes they have to be discovered or found. That is the frustrating thing about much of what it means to heal and to grow, is that it does not happen at a pace that most would find agreeable. But that is the nature of, if we must use the word development. I prefer growth. It's much more kind. And you see that when they say words like development, they kind of like look a little leeringly at some of the mechanical aspects of the room, and a little bit more fondly when they say growth towards the tree elements and the naturalistic components. But that is all. I wish I could give you more of a satisfying answer, Hanan, but that is truly at its core what it means to be us. What it could mean to be you. Simply a keeper or a discoverer of knowledge.
You you mentioned we are, well, we are keepers and of the ones who've come before. Do you mean that we are not you, me? Are we not, are we originally from the eighth world? Could we be from previous ones as well?
Perhaps. Some have lasted. It's funny to imagine all the wonders of the world you have it now. Imagine what the past has had. Many before you could still be here or elsewhere. I cannot tell you, for I am not connected to the other temples. All that I can offer is a choice.
What choice is that?
You live in a world defined by Vera, the northern earthen section of Terra, defined by Tinel, the eastern section of fire known as Numenera, defined by Tolak, the western section of aquatic hydros, and we can hear you, by the way, Harun.
Okay.
And kita to the life. Okay? How old is he and how
No
old
worries.
is he? When is Halana there to see you?
If you
Kali
could,
ta to kaya because when na kasi lagada. Okay?
that was interesting. Okay, apologies for that. Little aside. And so, quick refresh. You live in these worlds of Tolak, the western aquatic region, of Chauran, the southern region of downpour of storms. And you are now at the intersection of earth and water. To which combination, to which new temple would you like to go? What would you like to know?
That's why the tree did the thing. I get it.
What?
Oh, it's where earth and water, it's light and shadow. It's the balance of two things. The seeds, they were kept in soil. The further you went back from the light was the earth, right? Where the seeds were planted. The further you went back into the sphere, it was supported by it was wetter. It was moist. That moisture came from the shadows. It was in the back.
Yes. Through light and shadow are given sentience, warmth, knowledge, and life itself. From one cycle of life into the next cycle of life, you have come upon earth and water. To which combination do you wish to see life manifest? Water and air? Air and fire? Or fire and earth? This is your decision.
Well, we've seen what grows. Earth and water. Doesn't fire take life? It gives life.
It can definitely take life.
All
It's also
elements,
the sun.
all elements can take and give life. That's the thing.
Let's explore fire. Right? If Hanan is a Solaran, then wouldn't fire and air be a form of putting those two things together, maybe the answers we're looking for are somewhere in that direction.
Well, I just being here is our all of our answers, right? I mean, as much don't get me wrong. Please do not get me wrong. I want to learn more about the Solans, but if they're we are here as a team, and we should we have so many decisions, so many, I'm sure,
Questions.
so many questions. We should take it upon each of us on which we all would like to see.
It's very gracious of you, but Hanan, I'm here because well, I want to help. You're one of the few people that I feel like I can talk to. Everyone else is, I'm learning too along
No
the way.
offense, man.
I'm figuring it out. But I want to know about you. That's why I want to go that way. But whatever anyone else wants.
This is important to you, and as such, it's important for us because we're here to help each other grow and learn and whatnot. And in this to explore, why not do it in a manner that benefits one of us? I mean, if it benefits you, it benefits all of us. Because again, uplifting you, uplifting me.
Raven, I don't want to.
I'm this whole journey. This has all been. I knew we were going to discover something. Learn something new, something. And never would have guessed anything along these lines, to say the least. But I suppose that's part of it. And if we go there, and if we learn more, I mean, we learn more. You learn more about you, and by extension, the past, and by extension, we all learn, and we discover, and it's always best to learn in groups. Sometimes share the knowledge, bounce ideas off one another. A little hard to do that, when you're on your own.
What say you, Craven?
Before all this, all I'm really looking forward to is just finding some weird shit and bringing home the new Numenera, just doing my stuff, just living the life that I already live, the life that I know of. Suddenly, I join you on this adventure and figures about stuff like this, stuff that I wasn't even expecting to know about. And honestly, I'll follow you to the ends of the earth if it means I'm gonna find more about these things that they were showing me about. Because, now honestly, I've been looking for something. I just don't know what I'm looking for. Now, with you, finally found it. I got no other reasons to not being here with you or anything. I don't know how to put it into words. God, just
I
yeah.
I think we all get it, Craven.
I hate these feelings. I wish I was a machine. At least machine doesn't need to feel things. They're all cold, unfeeling things. And then he just kind of starts to tear up a bit, but then he's like, "No, no, I'm okay. I'm okay. Just need to oil my eyes. Sorry. Just just whatever the decision is, I'm going. I'm going." So
Anon nods, and they go to Napalzine first and puts their hands on his arm and just, "Thank you, friend. Thank you." And looks around at everyone. "Thank you, all of you." And then Hanan looks at the Sombran and kind of and nods and says, We'd like to know the way to the Temple of Fire and Air. Please."
Come. And they offer their hand to you.
I take it.
And it's comforting, though still a strange mixture of like freshly, like it's, the best description I have is like earth that's just been rained on, like in the morning, like a little bit of like morning dew kind of effect to it after you've had just not a heavy storm, just a little bit of rainfall. And they guide your hand with theirs, and they trace from the northernmost point all the way to the bottom of the map to the southernmost point. The choice is made. And thus fire and air will reveal themselves in time. I wish you all luck, and if ever you need or have interest in the memories here, in the history here, please return as you see fit.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you.
let me ask you something. Are you actually alive, or are you just an hologram? Just something. I was gonna do something, but I just need to make sure that I'm talking to a real person right now.
I would think being around your friend Aerowen there would teach you already that real and not real are quite subjective most of the time. I'm alive sometimes, and I'm not alive other times. It really depends. There's a very almost like mischievous sort of smile to their face, as it seems like for the first time they have less of the almost not austere but kind of serious expression to them, and it's a very like delightful, happy sort of expression. Well,
Well, I'm just gonna give you this then. And Craven just reaches into his bags and he's going to give the thing one of his scraps. One that's, for some reason, it's just for somehow it's shaped into like one of the creatures outside in the world. I don't know which. What was the bird? The bird, yeah.
oh, the storm
bird.
birds.
The stormbird. It's
Yeah.
shaped into a stormbird. And then he just handed it to the thing and like, there, just my thanks for showing me that thing. You know, people do things to me that are kind, and I wasn't expecting it. And as a thanks, I'll just give him that.
They take the scrap piece and they set it alongside the wall, and you see there's a segment along the murals that now shapes to see a massive, impressive storm bird that is now it almost seems to glide along all of the murals and just sort of take a lap around the room. The choice is made. The core will stay active only as long as you would like it to be. Otherwise, this place will continue as it always has. A place of knowledge and learning for those who wish to seek it out. I wish you luck on your return.
Thank you.
Of course. May the cycles of your life continue in positive ways. And may the moments of doubt and gloom transition into moments of joy and happiness and hope. The figure just sort of fades into the earth. Very, like, imagine sort of a dryadic nature spirit that then just sort of fades back into the earth. And you're there in the room. There's still murals, but none of them are as active as they were before. The map along the wall now has the southernmost point lit up.
I'm just gonna take a look at it and study it and just essentially snapshot the image into my mind. Memorize it. Just
It's there. With the temple core discovered, it's some of its secrets found out. What do you do now? We're getting near the very end of our session, as it is getting into where we would officially be calling it off. It'll be maybe just a few more minutes, but what do you do now? What do you see as your next course of action as you're all standing there in the aftermath of this?
You know, I was kind of expecting the Sombran to teleport us to that next temple.
Yeah, I was waiting for that too. The son of a thing.
Maybe there's a tunnel or a pack beast or something.
Oh, for fuck's sake, they wouldn't be giving us that. I'm pretty fucking sure they didn't even teleport us to fucking thing. Let's just go back to where we came from, you know?
As you start shouting obscenities, Craven, you see just one of the branches just makes a similar gesture that Aerowen recognizes as the like little shadow like flick on the nose.
Alright, what's my word? Seize.
also the discovery of... Oh, sorry, you were saying?
I mean, and with that, I think we fulfilled our client's original quest, despite not... Is there a clause that we have to explore the temple proper, or no?
Technically, no. / your GM will give you the narrative out because I am God in this world.
So the contract's fulfilled. Let's get the money and let's get ready to go to that Temple of Fire. And in case I'm ready to head out and hopefully not activate anything else that will try to go off my performance.
Okay, no offense taken.
So,
What?
Anal?
Hmm?
They said that there was a Solaran counterpart here. Do you want to say, like, up above? Do you want to stop by and say hello? Before we head out?
You're right. This is all about balance. There has to be a counterpart.
There's an evil Hanan somewhere in this world.
Oh.
Ow, alright,
Craven bad. Anytime Craven bad mouths The temple is just like, I'm right here. I can hear you.
I'm not saying there's evil. I'm just saying, Shadow Light, and Nan is a pretty sweet person. Who knows his counterpart is gonna be an evil bastard jerk.
Yeah.
It's like Craven just talking to the tree.
Not
What
quite
did
the
I do?
Well, I feel that we didn't explore. There's still so much to explore here. Might as well go up. I mean, we did miss a chunk thanks to the underground caverns.
Yeah. Just like
that face.
Remember,
just like just turning to the side of the camera and just sort of like
The Office.
Yeah, basically, it's just like. But. And Nopalsian, is there anything that's on your mind at this moment as we're sort of wrapping up?
He's already had his mind blown at least 3 separate times.
His mind is broken.
Within
he has
like a
to
15-minute session. I think mostly he's like looking around and thinking about the implications of this place.
The Hemo doesn't have the brain capacity to handle all this.
It's more like the existential capacity, not brain capacity. After you just found a center of knowledge for the previous existence of the world cycle. But as you leave the tree, if it is a decision of the group for next time to want to explore more, as you leave the tree, you don't step out into the core chamber this time. You step out into the front of the temple. Right in front of the antechamber.
Wait. What? Did we?
I'm going to look inside. Is the rope still there?
Wait, which rope?
The rope that
one that you... Yep.
Let us go back down. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm out.
It rearranges itself.
Yep. And
it's like the whole place is alive.
And when you turn back, the tree's not there anymore.
Huh.
Yes! Nothing can flick my nose anymore! I can say shit again!
Wait, we were... Didn't... How are we supposed to... Can we go back?
I think if we want to go back there really badly, we can make it happen.
Do we just wish hard enough?
That's the secret to everything, Hanan. You just have to believe in it hard enough.
And with that last comment, that is where we're going to close our session. Because, oh hey there, Sarah of Swords. Nice to have you in the chat. Just cheering 500 bits. We're going to put that as a note that folks will get a little perk for next game. But that is where we're going to close off for tonight. Because I think that's enough revelatory moments for everybody.
I believe hard enough that we will succeed next time.
So,
I mean,
yeah, it's a lot. I'm not going to downplay that it's a lot. But just so folks know, want to give thanks to everyone who followed and subbed. Maddie for being amazing and rating us with 9 people and 11 viewers. Want to remind folks about our Discord and Patreon and merch. We don't have anything coming up next on WTTP. Tomorrow there will be the Ryutama campaign, Dreams of Dragons, in which I'm in there as a player. I'll get into more of that when I get to my bit about where everyone can find me and all that. But while I do the professional thing and start looking for a channel to raid, I'm going to let the whole of the player group do their thing and start. Let's do our wind down. And where can we find you? Where can our lovely viewers find you all across the interwebs? Anyone go. I trust you all as adults to just go in order and let me do the find a raid channel, because last time it took me forever.
Yes, going okay. Hi, I'm Bram. You can find me at the Phytos on the internet, on Twitter, a little bit on the Discordish, mostly lurking there. Um, but yeah, you can find me on Twitter at the Phytos. I'm a and you can find me here, like right now, and I'm a and you can find some of my little jam projects at Defidos on itch at defidos.itch.io. And you can find me for sound design work at bramsu.com.
I think one of us is a time limit. So I'm going to defer to people that have tighter time frames.
Yeah. Next up, Arun slash
so-
Stencil.
Yes, I am. I am Basil, and I'm in the Multiple Party Discord, and also on Sundays over here joining the stream.
I'm Simon. You can find me on Twitter at Lucha Libris. You can also follow my game design work on itch. That's colorspraygames.itch.io. I am a cast member here and also a GM for Welcome to the Party on Wednesdays at 8 o'clock. We're playing Monster of the Week. Check that out, 8 p.m. Eastern. I'm on Scratus Academy for the finale of a Blades in the Dark game, Thursday, 2:30 Eastern. And on All Nerds here at 3 p.m. Eastern, playing World Wide Wrestling RPG. If you'd like to play a game with me, you can go to magpiegames.com/curated-play. I'm a professional GM for Magpie Games, playing all kinds of fun games like Masks and Zombie World. And if you'd like to hear some of my voiceover work, I am an actor for the Penumbra Podcast. It's a queer sci-fi and fantasy audio drama. You can learn more about that at thepenumbrapodcast.com or at the Penumbra Pod on Twitter.
Next.
Okay. Hello. I am Kupo Knight. I go by Discord. I go by Kupo Knight on the Discords and Twitter. Twitter it's KUP0KNIGHT. I'm a cast member here with these awesome folks, and I'm here Sunday evenings, and I'm also at the Welcome to the Party on Thursday evenings at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for our Star Wars tabletop RPG, The First Ember, using the airlock system, which is a Star Wars hack. Hyperdrive, which is the airlock, which is the hack of airlock. Yes. So if you're into Star Wars and just want better storytelling in canon stuff, then you should watch our show because there's all cool battle scenes and stuff. And other than that, I also stream on my own channel on Twitch, Kupo Knight, Kupo_Knight. Right now I just play various video games, but I am also charity streaming for the Bale Project as well, because we can't have enough giving stuff to go around. So if you're into video games or just want to see me flail around randomly and chat with people and just have somewhere to chill, please feel free. I'd love to have you. And let me see. Yes, Twitter, the Bale Project. Yeah, and happy Pride. Black Lives Matter. Black Trans Lives Matter.
Excellent. Noah, real quick.
All right. My name is Noah. You can find me at Twitter, Discord, and other sorts of social media. You can find me at Oren Rune most of the time. And well, yeah, just follow my Twitter if you want to see the things that I wrote, the art that I draw, and yeah, games that I was in. I don't do a lot. Feel bad, man.
I'll try and make this real quick. I'm Angela, otherwise known as Phoenix24Fem on Twitter, or the Philosophem over on Patreon, where I'm a writer, poet, and occasional, when folks are interested, essentially TTRPG theme maker and or website theme maker if you're looking for something for your website or for having a little theme done acoustically for your campaign setting. Ichikar Lab, because I'm here and I do good work. It's already been on our channel before for a previous short shot. One half of the Queerly Yours podcast, and I've been involved. I was over on Make Believe just a little bit ago, done by the fantastic Atomic Firebird, and you can find me on Mondays here on Dreams of Dragons, the Ryutama campaign, where I play a polyamorous, queer, old spring magic herbologist lady who's just really sweet and is looking to maybe just go after her pen pal and see her, unless more. So we'll see that. But that's pretty much everything. I just play a lot of games and I write a lot, and I'm switching a lot of things over to different systems because I'm always world building and I don't know how I got here, which I think is probably a lot of TTRPG nerd bios. But that is me. We love you all very much for just everything and all the support you show this all Pimpot crew, and we're glad to have you here helping us out, just showing interest in this world and our story that we're all building together. But we are going to close out the night by, I have found, I believe, a suitable channel. Roll the Roll over on Twitch is playing Pathfinder, so I'm gonna try and do that, and my glorious cast is going to see if this will actually work on the Twitch. So let's give that a go.
I believe.
I believe.
Yeah.
Spirit is willing, but reality is not cooperating. Oftentimes.
You
So
just
let's
have
try.
to believe hard enough.
There we go.
It looks
We're about
like-
to head out.
Yeah, it looks like we're about to head out. Thank you, everyone. Take care. Black Lives Matter. White supremacy ain't
I
shit.
don't see the
And
countdown.
we love you all. Take care, okay? Hopefully this will transfer over, because I think we are.
I don't see the the countdown like I usually do.
I will keep trying, because this is me. This is my life. Why is it always so difficult to find something to rate? Now, it looks like it might be one of those not rateable channels. I'm going to keep looking. If someone else would like to help me in this quick endeavor while I go poking around. I thought I'd found something. Rock Punch.
There is
Zwayhander is also doing stuff right now too.
yeah, I have an acquaintance of mine who is in the tabletop RPG thing. They're doing their stream. Maybe you can rate them.
If they're live right now, we could give it a shot.
Yeah, maybe.
I'll
It's-
try Zwayhander, and if it looks like we're about to move over to them, then we'll just count that good for tonight. But I just want to make sure this is going through.
Looks
Roll
like
plus
Vid-
Justice.
Yeah, Viditya Valetti just
Viditya,
offered
I
that
already
as
love
well.
you, and I've only had you be involved in chat once. I already love you very much.
I've never heard of that channel. Is there some
Let's see.
do I have to follow this channel too?
Oh,
That's my.
Roll
that's
plus
my-
it's
Oh.
roll
Word,
plus.
word.
Is roll the insignia or roll the name? Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the plus won't be allowed in.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay. We're all learning here.
Isarai.
It's all right.
It's all fine.
That's the.
This is
that's the
fine.
Do
channel.
it.
Okay.
If you didn't
All
find
right.
any.
I'm not seeing
channel.
the countdown thing, but we're about to find out.
Huh.
I just want
Doing-
one to
I'm
go
doing
through.
the crab dance of raid. Let us. God, no! It does it so much better.
Alright,
I'm summoning the raid
I
gods.
am trying my hardest, y'all. This is 4 weeks of this stuff. I am.
Twitch, what is wrong with you?
Have you found the channel to raid? Is it working? Is it doing it?
We're trying here. We're all cylinders going on this. Jackal and Hare. Because at this point, one of them should be going. Gonna try Jackal and Hare. Let's give it a shot. Because it should be doing the countdown thing on Twitch, right? If it's
Yeah, it
moving
should
over.
be.
Good.
Okay, I had a notification, and then it's just my phone losing power. So
Oh.
the double whammy of no help.
Is anyone else a mod on Welcome to the Party? Maybe the.
I'm messaging them as we speak. I am,
'Cause-
as always, apologetic for this
Yeah.
part because this is just whoever's around because it's a late hour.
Yeah, because I think I don't have only mods can do that.
I swear, this is every week.
It's always happening.
This is the only hang up. Like everything else production wise goes fine outside of the camera being a little wonky.
Gosh.
So-
What are the chances that we are the one who's experiencing this?
Oh, I think
Thank you everyone for sticking
Yes.
around so
Yeah.
we can raid.
yes. 'Cause
That is
I
very
believe-
nice
I
of
believe,
you.
as is the case in many other recent production snafus, Rue is coming to save us. So
Rue is
wow.
saving the day.
Rue is what you might call a gem, but
Yeah, she's
not that
she's
gem.
she's a hero.
No, Rue is the hero. Rue is the hero we truly need.
We'll all rue the day.
Here comes the Rue.
Clutch in the
Why?
third inning.
Why? Yes, thank you very much, everyone. This might just be a running part of like our own personalized bingo card for this session for this campaign of any guesses. Oh, there's Rue in the chat. I
Here
believe
you
she'll be
come
joining us.
to save the day.
Saving the day.
Saving our
Shaving your asses.
only
Help
mildly.
us raid, Rue. You're our only
Please,
hope.
Rue, save us. Because we are
Well,
trying.
here's a joke while we're waiting.
Is it a pun?
No.
Oh.
The way he looked was
No,
so
Bram, no.
There's two bears taking a bath.
Uh-oh. This is lewd.
One
already.
bear says to the other one, "Pass the soap." The other bear looks at him
Does he bend
and
his
says, "No soap, radio." Maybe you didn't get it. There's two bears having a bath. One bear says to the other one, "Pass the soap." The other
Yes.
bear says, "No soap, radio."
Damn it, Simon.
Wait, why am I not getting it? Why am I dumb? Wait.
It's an unjoke. There is no punchline.
God damn it, Simon.
All right, actually, that's a bad one. I actually heard a really good knock knock joke the other day.
I don't trust you anymore.
All right, but you have to start it, okay?
No,
Wait,
no.
what? I don't
Oh!
Oh, god damn. No, Bram, you do it.
Oh.
I don't trust Simon anymore.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
He's
Even
dead.
It's a joke.
Sarah is chiming in.
That's
God.
the joke.
God, why are you like this, Simon? Why?
Oh, Bram, I got something for ya. Can
Oh,
you?
God.
My friends have told me that they can't do this, but can you spell peanuts without the T?
No,
Do
no,
it.
no,
My friends can't do it.
no. I am vetoing this. I am
Well,
vetoing
it has been
this.
vetoed. But
Oh come on!
No.
Oh come on! That
Rue,
was-
save us from our misery,
Rue, save
please,
us-
for the
save us
love
from-
of God.
Oh, we can do it?
Oh, we can? Okay.
We
And
can.
I tried putting in the command and it didn't seem to be going through, or I put it in incorrectly. Please
Wait, did you do
raid.
it on your phone?
I've
Angelo?
been trying to do it
Oh,
on my
oh,
phone.
oh! I got the pop up.
Wait.
Hey,
Maybe,
look at that.
maybe it's the phone. The phone
Wait,
just
we them
sucks.
boys.
It's going.
The phone just
We in
sucks.
there. We in there. We love you all.
Bye. Have a good
Pop
one.
ups.
I'm putting us on mute now, everyone.
My night is ruined over the jokes.
Ooh.
I have real jokes too. I promise.
Mm-hmm.
well, they're all still jokes and they're all still
This is my
valid.
face. This is my face.
Is it done?